So first you're going to pick out your colors. You don't have to use these colors, but black, white, orange, and yellow are the ones I'm going to go with. I'm going to alternate every other nail white and black, but I'm doing an accent finger of candy corn, which is going to be white, orange, and yellow. So that's why on my ring finger on each hand, I'm doing it white regardless of the pattern. And then for the rest of the nails, I'm sticking with alternating black and white. I'm going to start with the candy corn accent finger first so I don't forget that, so I don't mess up my alternating colors. And I'm going to get my 2 pens ready. I've got 2 ballpoint pens. If you've seen my previous nail art video, you know I just dipped the tip of these into the polish and use those as my art pens. I'm going to get 2 handy just because I'm using a lot of different colors and I don't want to mix the one that goes in black with the one that goes in white. For the first candy corn, what I'm gonna do is just kind of freehand the orange and yellow stripes on here. Now you can use like a piece of paper to get a perfectly straight line, or that tape that's like striping tape that you can peel off and place on your finger to give you perfectly straight lines. I personally just prefer to freehand it. Now that my tip is to hold the brush still and just move your finger. So rather than trying to keep your hand steady enough to make a straight line with the brush, just hold the brush in one spot and kind of tilt your finger from side to side so that it kind of looks like I'm still moving the brush here, but that's just really to kind of touch up certain parts. But to get that straight stripe shape, I just hold the brush down and then turn my finger so that it stays pretty straight. You can also try to make it purposely curved so that it doesn't look like it's supposed to be perfect. Candy corn is kind of curved and the colors are not perfectly blunt lines. Now doing the yellow, it's going to be easier because I already have 2 layers of polish where that orange stripe is, so it's already thicker than where the white is underneath. And so the thickness of that orange layer of polish is going to kind of stop the yellow from bleeding over into the other stripe. So that yellow stripe is going to be much easier and quicker to do than the orange one. I'm doing these first because this is the only design that I've really decided on ahead of time, is the candy corn accent nails. I just know for the other ones I'm going to use a mix of different colors and like Halloween designs. And if you do mess up on the orange stripe like I did here and make it too thick, you can just put a little bit of white back on the top section where the yellow would go. And I'm doing that right now, and I'm going to let that dry before I go back in with more yellow. To make your designs, you want to plop a good amount of polish down on the paper towel, but if it's not thick enough or plopping down enough, you can just brush it directly onto the pen. And you're going to use the pen to draw on your nail just like you would draw on paper, but you don't want to put too much pressure down. You want to kind of almost float it above your nail and just let the polish touch your nail and not let the pen touch your nail. I'm drawing a pumpkin on this finger, and you want to use a generous amount of polish, not a huge glob, but you just want the ballpoint of the pen coated in polish so that it's not scraping into the black polish that's underneath. Then for my right hand, since I'm doing it with my non-dominant left hand, I'm just going to do a simpler polka dot design on the matching pointer finger. I'm not going to do another pumpkin because I don't think I can do that with my left hand. And I'm just going to go back in with the yellow stripe on the candy corn now that I've fixed my too wide of an orange stripe. And deciding what to do as I go along here, I decided to do a witch hat on the next finger. So I'll do a black hat on one of the white nails. I'm just going to draw a straight line across the bottom and then go above it with a triangle, just like a basic witch hat shape. And again, you just want to use a very light pressure with the pen. You don't want to scrape into the polish that's underneath, so get plenty of polish on the tip of the ballpoint pen and then just draw the same way you would normally draw. That's why I like using a pen instead of a brush. It's like a little bit more of a natural way that you would hold a pen and draw a picture to me that makes the nail art easier. And this does look like a witch hat, but it does look like it needs a face or a head underneath it to make it more obvious that it's a witch hat. But I'm thinking of maybe doing green for the witch's face, which I didn't bring over here just yet. So I'll go back in later. I'll grab a green later and do the witch's face. Meanwhile, I'm going to add a little face on my pumpkin, make it a jack-o'-lantern. I think that also will make it more distinct as a pumpkin face and not just an orange blob. So there he is, pretty cute little jack-o'-lantern, my witch and my candy corn, and I still need to decide what to do on these other fingers. I'm gonna go ahead and do black polka dots on my pinky nail. I think both pinkies will end up being polka dot just because they're such small nails. They're too small to really draw a cute little creature on there or do anything creative. So just my traditional polka dots. And now going in with some green to make a witch's face. Just literally a circle. I'm just blobbing a bunch of green polish down to make a round face circle shape. And I will go back in and give her eyes and a mouth later when the green is dry. I'll go back in with black. Now I was inspired by this green polish. It kind of reminded me of Frankenstein color. So I'm going to do a little monster on the thumb. So I'm going to just make a green blob in kind of that long square egg head shape of like a Frankenstein head. And then I'll give him, of course, some tall monster hair and monster face in black. But meanwhile, I'm going to let the green dry and go ahead and do some green polka dots on my other pinky nail. So I have just a bunch of different color combination of polka dots. No two polka dot nails are the same, so it switches it up a little. You don't have to do, of course, all these designs on all of your fingers, but I wanted to show you guys a few different options, and you can take any combination that you want. So I did some kind of tall, squiggly monster hair and a little monster face on that guy. Just literally drew it in with the black polish on the ballpoint pen. And now I have to give my witch her face too. I'm going to give her some eyes and a mouth just with little kind of dots of black. And then this hand will be pretty much complete, and I'll have to figure out what to do on a couple other bare black nails on my right hand. It's always harder to figure out what to do on the right hand because I'm limited in the dexterity of my left hand. So I think I'll do a ghost because a ghost is an abstract shape anyway. I mean, who's to say what's a proper shape for a ghost? And it's kind of squiggly and wonky, so it's kind of a good thing to do if you're not trying to be a perfectionist with, you know, beginner nail art. And I'll just make it in the shape of kind of your traditional white sheet ghost, and of course we'll give him a face later with some black polish once the white is dry. And I'm just going to do one more coat of white over the ghost and kind of even out the outline of him a little bit. And for the last finger, I'm going to do stripes. I'm going to use kind of the same technique, just hold the pen there and move your hand backwards. So notice the pen stays in one place and I slide my hand back. The stripes do get skinnier as more polish comes off of the pen, so you may have to go back over a couple of times. And if you do get carried away with the white, you can always go back in with black in between to fix the stripes, which I did do. So once I give my little ghost his face, I'll take some of the a little bit of black, not too much black, on the pen and just go back in and fix my stripes. So there's my little spooky ghost. I did make his eyes a little big, but kind of works, kind of gives him that spooky look. And just quickly gonna touch up this stripe, and that's it. All 10 fingers are done. Again, I wouldn't necessarily normally do all these designs all at once if I wasn't trying to show you guys a bunch of different ways to do different Halloween color combinations and a couple of cute little characters. But let me know what you guys think, if this was a really helpful tutorial for you. I do have another tip for you in regards of top coat. I put a huge blob of top coat over my designs, and then go back and brush over it gently, just so that I'm not smearing. You don't want to take a tiny bit of top coat and smear it across your nail. You want to blob the top coat down and then go back and kind of move it around. Your polish should be dry, of course, before you start putting on your top coat, but that gives you that nice shiny finish and keeps the polish lasting longer. This is just regular polish, nothing, no gel, nothing special. You could use any drugstore nail polish that's on sale or any colors that you like. You could do this with gel, but you'd have to set it under a light every time in between, and that would take a little bit longer. Plus, this is just sort of a fun holiday seasonal nail color. So please let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.